Very.
Hamas doesn't want to negotiate with Israel either, you fucking retard.
Hamas has negotiated with Israel many times, and
When?
Israel
Google it.
walks out,
Oh,
and then
dude. Oh, yeah.
okay.
The chat GPT. I'll do it for you. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Whatever, dude.
I'm sorry.
We're all anti-Palestinians having a country in this chat.
True.
Okay.
Except maybe you. Maybe you're like pro-terror.
Pro-terrorists.
I mean, would you say that, like, back when slavery was a thing, that when black people, like, did uprisings and killed their masters, that was, like, terrorism, that was bad, and then we
What
shouldn't have freed
terrorism?
them? Right, but, like, then we shouldn't have freed them because they're obviously, like, terrible people doing all this terrible stuff.
Well, there's slavery, and then there's people actually fucking going out and bombing things. You know,
Well, were
it's
they
very
slaves
different.
in Gaza? Because, like, I've been there. First off, I lived over there, not in Gaza, obviously, because Jews can't live there or they get murdered. But like, I've been to like
Israel.
area B and C and shit in the West Bank. I've been there. I've seen it.
Yeah,
These
but you
people aren't
yourself said
slaves.
you like you could even step foot in Gaza. Well, the main battle is in Gaza, right? Not even the West Bank.
Well, yeah. So what would happen if I went into Gaza? Is they would have kidnapped and killed me.
Maybe,
Hold
I
up.
don't know,
Logic.
but
Oh,
Logic.
100%.
Let
They
me
would have
ask you,
kidnapped and
Trump
killed
is
me.
so bad. Who is your like
The bloody
ideal
hands thing?
I can't
Like
hear you
that.
both.
You know the bloody hand shit that everyone thinks is so cool. So do you know the story of that?
I have no idea what that is.
Just look up Palestine bloody hands. It's like a like it's considered to Israelis. It's disgusting, but the Palestinians are like, yeah, resistance. So what ended up happening in that famous photo of the guy like sticking his hands out the window, completely bloody, is two IDF members got lost in Ramallah and they went to ask for help and they told them to go into the police station. When they went into the police station, they were lynched. Like their body parts were eaten, and then he fucking throws his hands out to like a celebrating crowd with bloody hands. Like, these are not fucking slaves. These people are fucking sick.
Animals.
So,
like, yeah, dude, they're fucking sick.
Well,
You're like,
what I would say is
you
that
can't blame them for like this is why they're not allowed to go into Israel because they kill people, dude.
well, there are Palestinians in Israel. They're like secondary
Very
citizens.
few. They have.
But what I would say,
You know how it
what I
works.
would
I
say
lived
is
there.
what you're saying is kind of dangerous because you're actually like applying this, these adjectives
not
to like
dangerous.
all Palestinians rather than just this
Dude,
particular
right
group
now,
of
if there was
people.
an election,
May
who
I
would
say
win if
that
there was an
Israel
election
takes
right
in
now?
so
It would
many
be Hamas
Palestinian
again.
refugees?
Sure, but like now you would have to say, well, obviously not all Palestinians are terrible, bloodthirsty people. Why are these particular Palestinians in this particular area like that? And then you have to look at it from the lens of, okay, what was their environment? Their environment was they could build a house, it could get torn down. They could have children, those children could die, right? They could die. You don't know what's going to happen. So what you end up with is a very resentful and hatred-filled generation after generation
Just
of people.
go, dude. You should go over there and meet these people because everyone who's gone there, who's like a neutral person, I know who's like
I mean,
actually met
that's
real
not
Palestinians, has become very
that's not
pro-Israel
very
And
afterwards.
hold up.
that's
May I
just not
say,
very convincing because I could tell you, oh, you think black people should be free? I dare you go as a white man to a slave uprising and see how they'll treat you when you say, oh, I think slaves should be free. Maybe they'll kill you and
doesn't have
lynch
to be
you,
an
right?
uprising.
But it doesn't mean.
Palestinians. Go.
let me say,
Well, it should be an uprising
Palestinians,
so that it's on
whatever
equal footing,
political
right?
ideology that you believe in, the Palestinians would very likely disagree with your
That's
personal ideology.
right, but that's like saying that it doesn't matter
These
because
people
I'm
are
not saying
so
these
dumb,
people
dude.
should agree with me and then their life will have moral value. I'm saying their
They're
life
like
has
those
moral
guys
value.
in the UK that let in the Muslims, and now all their women are being raped.
I'm not saying Palestinians should go in
The Middle
and live
East
in Israel.
entirely is
They
the
can't even-
biggest
Yeah,
sex
but
trafficking,
you don't have
pool,
to say it. All you have
and
to
the
do
entire
is
wall.
to look at their behavior and to say that it's okay and to justify it, which is what you're doing.
I'm not
You are.
saying it's okay and I'm not justifying it. I'm looking at it like a bomb, right? If a bomb explodes, I don't look at the bomb and say, the bomb, you're a really bad bomb, you're a terrible bomb, how dare you explode? I look at the person who pulled the pin out of the bomb, right? So
The
looking at the
Palestinian?
Palestinian, yes, so looking at the Palestinian people as like people
Palestinians
to,
fucking pulled the bomb. What are you talking about, dude? It's
I'm
always
saying
the
Israel,
Really
I'm saying
fucking confused.
Israel is
How did
basically turned
Israel
them into a
start this
bomb.
war? How did Israel start this war?
I'm not
How
talking
Let me
about
fucking
know.
who
delusional
started
do
the
you have
war
to
80
be?
years ago. What I'm talking
How
about
did they
is
start
the
this?
fact that a
Oh
lot
my
of the
god.
terrorism,
They
a
didn't
lot.
even start the war 80 years ago. Do you
I
know what
didn't.
happened?
I said I'm not talking about who started the war 80 years
Who
ago.
started this war, you idiot? There's been 100 wars in the region. Who
Unite
started
in
this one?
1947, United Nations partition plan. June 1948, Arab enemies invade Israel. July 1948, Israel army counterattacks, and that's fucking what happened.
Okay, I don't know what that has to do
They
with
were
Well, we
what I
don't
invaded.
have
was
to go
saying
Israel
that
was
there.
far
invaded.
back. Who attacked who on October 7th?
The
Use
entire
your
Middle
brain.
East tried to
I
wipe
know you
out the
don't
Jews.
want to
Sure,
say it
but
because
are you saying that
no. I
Israel
want
wasn't
you to say
slaughtering
it.
Palestinians before October 7th?
No, they weren't. That's exactly what I'm saying.
I
No, they
mean, all you
weren't.
would
They
have
were
to do is
fine.
scroll Twitter for like 5 minutes and you would see
Is that where you
videos
get your
after videos.
Twitter
information?
is
Is
not
Twitter?
real life. First off,
Twitter's a
second
force
off,
in the
they
universe.
could just
Okay.
fucking there. All of
Right,
Gaza,
yeah.
everything people are complaining about. This is the problem with you people because you won't admit, that one point because your entire argument falls apart.
What?
Because
True.
Gaza was fine. You know, they had lots of buildings and shit and fucking businesses and everything else. And like it was,
Their
it
economy was
wasn't
entirely
thriving. It was
dependent
an
on
Islamist
Israel.
enclave, but it was fine.
I
It
mean,
wasn't what it is now.
I can
And then
promise you if you
October
lived in
7th happened.
Gaza as a
And you don't want to
Palestinian,
say like why October 7th happened because it was really just like it was really
yeah, so could you tell me why it happened?
so Israelis would live in fear. That's the
I'm sorry. Are
Palestinian,
you saying
the
that
Hamas.
Palestinians randomly, for literally no reason, were like,
Yes, they
we
hate
as a
their guts.
That
collective
happens
group
all the time,
came
dude.
together and we hate these Israelis so
Their
much, we're gonna do
entire
this?
slogan is "Death to the Jews." From the river to the sea is literally the blood of the Jews
History
shall
doesn't know
run from
anything
the
about
river to
it.
the sea.
Okay. Well, I don't know what to
They
tell you
hate
other than that I think the conditions were not good and Israel almost facilitates its
What
own
wasn't good in
terrorism.
Gaza? Name me three
hold up.
things that weren't good in Gaza
If
on
you
October
had a
6th.
building that they didn't like, they could tear it down. Tearing down buildings
Not in
that were
Gaza.
newly built,
Wrong.
that was in
Not in
Gaza.
Gaza.
That was in
Not in
Gaza.
Gaza.
That was in Gaza. I'm
That
sorry,
was
that was
not
in
in
Gaza.
Gaza. Go find
That
me
was on
all right.
Gaza.
Okay, how about this? If you can't find me an example of in that entire year someone going in and tearing down a house in Gaza, go
Just that
look
one
right now.
year.
Yeah, fine. I'll give you 5 years. How about that?
You
Let me
want me
ask
to
you.
find
No,
a
no, no,
building
no.
in
Some
Gaza
of
in the
these
past
buildings,
I
five
think you're talking about
years
the West
before
Bank.
they
October
turn
7th?
humanitarian
I know
aid
he's
and
thinking of the
missiles.
West Bank. That's why I'm asking him to do it. Obviously, he's wrong, but like, I want him to go. It's important because these people are dumb that you make them actually do the research and see they're
True.
wrong
They
in
just
real
lie.
time. Otherwise, they won't learn.
Logic, you here?
Yeah, I just came back.
Okay.
Are you a Jew?
Me?
Mhm.
No.
Good.
But Benjamin is.
Unfortunately, yeah. I'll fix him one day. I'll make him renounce his baby penis sucking ways. It'll happen.
Oh God. I think you Benjamin could have a rivalry.
I love Benjamin. He gave me a zero of interest loan once because I'm also a filthy kike. I mean, a Jew.
Israel
were
had a
Swedish.
history of bombing and destroying thousands of homes and other buildings in
Yeah, of course.
Gaza before October 7th. In
All I'm
So they
gonna
2005,
went
say
in.
is
So
they don't
they
really
went
care
in and
about us.
tore people's homes down. Can you find me
before
one
October
example of
7th.
that? Can you find me
Sure.
one example
On the
of
Jew
that?
internet? No, probably not.
On the Jew internet.
I mean, that's probably where he's gonna go next. He's like,
What do you think? You guys
Let's
don't
see.
control like 90% of all media and information?
you can't say buildings were
Between
destroyed.
2007 and 2023, Israel had bombed or invaded Gaza 7 times, killing almost 4,000 Palestinians and destroying many thousands of homes, such as schools, universities, hospitals, and other community faculties, many of them several times over. Before October 7th, Gaza tried to rebuild several times only to face more destruction. Israel has long used disproportionate force with high collateral damage to target
Do you
perceived
want to
militants.
be right? Do you want to actually be right about this topic, or do you just want to like?
No,
I'm
look,
curious.
hold
I
on,
mean, if
I
the
want to
facts
ask you
are
a
not on your
question.
side, then you can't
Well,
be
look,
right.
Logic, I have a question for you. Like, while I don't like the Jews at all,
Right.
I have to ask, why does it matter? Like I'm from Sweden, right? If
Right.
I was the king of Sweden, you think I wouldn't like use extreme disproportionate force to get rid of the foreign invaders in my country? Yeah. I mean, I give them the charity to leave willingly, but after that, all gloves are off. I'm putting their heads on pikes. I'm not going to
Well,
call that
first of
immoral
all,
because they're a foreign threat to me.
well,
We can't.
no one would
Wait,
say
wait, 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 wait.
that
I
Gaza is
have
part of
him.
Israel.
I have him. I have him. I have him. Please wait. Do you know how many Palestinian rocket attacks since 2005
Not enough.
have been waged on Israel? Over 10,000.
Sure.
Unfortunate.
They fired over 10,000 rockets from Gaza towards Israel, right? So you're like,
Okay.
oh wow, buildings have been destroyed. Do you think that perhaps firing over 10,000 rockets has anything to do with that?
So, this is what I'm going to say,
makes a good
which
point.
is, which is, how do you respond to that? When somebody,
You have to destroy where
when,
they're shooting the rockets from. You don't just sit there and you're like, hey, why don't we have a conversation?
well, beyond the
with
fact that
people
there's
wanna kill
precision
us?"
ways to target things like that, other than destroying the entire building, completely besides that,
How?
you have to look at.
How would you? Whatever, dude.
No, you can absolutely do that, but why would you bother? It just
Yeah.
costs more. It costs less to just
You
flatten their
couldn't
whole
even do
shitty
that.
little
How are you gonna
like
do it?
cockroach nest, right?
How could you even do it?
You're not a military guy. That's fine. There's definitely ways to do it. Yes, it would cost
You're
more. It
clearly
would
not.
be more
Yeah,
precise.
so
How
why
can
would you
they do
bother
it
with
without-
it when they're roaches anyway?
How the fuck could they possibly do it without going into Gaza?
Look, I'm not pro Gaza, but like, why would you waste the resources?
So here's what I'm saying, which is that when you
There's
look
no
at
hope
when
for
you
these
look at a
people.
war like this, and there's people on both sides, and they keep escalating,
They're all scum, yeah.
you have to realize, what are you doing that's actually going to stop the war? And that when you put your thumb harder on these people, that's not going to stop the war, especially when they've been willing to negotiate and they bring their
They've
terms to
never
the
been
table.
willing
Have they,
to
though?
negotiate. Are you fucking retarded?
You're talking
Holy
about two
shit.
religious groups who fundamentally believe in lying to each other. So that they're
Yeah,
never gonna stop.
Sure, that
It's
the two groups do
it's
hate
literally
each
in
other,
the
but
Hamas charter.
And
to never
they are
accept a
understandable.
two-state
I
solution.
dislike both of them vehemently. I think they're both evil.
The Hamas
Sure,
charter
I'm
literally
not gonna
says
say-
never to accept a two-state solution.
sure, I'm not gonna say that if Israel and Palestinian, like if Jews and the Arabs were switched, that the Arabs wouldn't do the same thing to the Jews. I think they
I
Well,
think
there
they
would
maybe
be
would,
no
right?
Jews if it were switched. The same way there's no more Zoroastrians. There's no more. There's
Well,
almost no
I
more
think
Yazidis.
pretty
There's
much
no more
the
Alawites.
I think it's obvious that the only reason that there's
There's
still
barely any Europe left.
Palestinians, I think it's fairly
No more
obvious that the only
Coptics.
reason that there's still Palestinians and Israel doesn't wipe them out is because they're a U.S. ally and they're trying to become part of a more dignified world, I guess, part of like a coalition of more dignified governments across the world. And if you do that, then you basically put yourself at the same level as the people around you, which aren't
You
part
don't
of
even
that.
have you don't even have the logic to see if they're firing 10,000 rockets at you. Obviously, buildings are going to get destroyed. You're insane. You don't want to even confront that because that would make you wrong. And you're like, Israel's
I-
going in and bulldozing people's homes in Gaza. I still ask for a source for that. Have you found one?
And I'd
Any
like to hear a
building that
reasoning
got
for why that's a
destroyed
bad
was
thing.
military target.
Okay, well, both of
Genuinely,
you
why
have
is that a
like
bad thing, though?
you both have like slightly different arguments here. For Hugh, what was your question too?
I'm wondering why it would be a bad thing if they were like, let's say they were carpet bombing all of them. Why would that be a bad thing?
Well, if you're an Israeli, then that's not a bad thing in your viewpoint.
I'm neither. Fuck them both. Why is it a bad thing?
Well, if you have a moral stance on humanity, then that would probably be it.
Yeah, I have a moral stance against Islam and Judaism too. It trumps
Sure,
humanity.
well then by your moral framework, I couldn't
I'm not a
convince
globalist.
you.
I couldn't give two shits about humanities more than their
Sure,
salvation.
but then by your moral framework, there's no way I could convince you that that's a bad thing, right? So
yeah, you could appeal to religion or to
I'm
some
an
other
atheist.
option that doesn't cost more and that they're worthy of saving.
That sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah, which you don't
for-
actually care either. You just want to appeal to like, oh my god, it's humanity, but you don't actually care about morals.
Yeah, man, it's clear that this guy doesn't give a shit about what the actual
Look,
story
The
is.
If you're
issue is
any
that,
religion-
that you're giving me a task that I don't think is necessary because from my moral framework, being
What moral framework is that?
just that humans generally have some kind
Atheism?
of worth, and you shouldn't. Well, if you're
Is it
gonna say that
atheism?
there's no, yeah, it would be a
All right, so it's
atheism is in
narcissism.
there.
It's narcissism.
It's
I
narcissism.
feel like
and
it should be.
suicidal
Therefore, my
empathy.
morality dictates it to be so. According to
Sure.
Christianity, they're both evil, and neither of them should kill each other. They might even. You maybe
yeah,
even
but
should
that's
save
why
them
I'm
from
saying
themselves.
that's why I'm saying there's no way to convince you through your moral framework. You said yes, there is, but I have to go through religion. I said I'm not going to do that because I'm an atheist, and then you said, well, that's
Yeah,
because you don't
because you don't
actually
believe
care.
in
I'm not going to
anything,
go
so
through
you-
your own moral
you can't
framework that I think is
justify it in
already
your own
wrong. Do you
framework.
see why I'm not going to do
You
that?
can't even justify it in your own framework.
I can 100% justify it in my own
Yeah,
framework.
okay, but any reasoning you make based on your own framework, I'm just gonna ask, how is that an what's the objective standard?
Exactly.
of that?
That's why I said I'm not going to do that because there's
Yeah,
no way to
because you don't have an
convince
objective
you.
standard would mean it's not actually right or right. You just feel
There
like
is
it
no
is.
such thing as an objective standard.
Great. So there's what's wrong. So let's not bother with it. It's not wrong then.
I didn't say you were wrong. I said there was no way to convince you within your moral framework.
No, I'm saying they're not wrong, and you have no reason to say they're wrong or right for doing what they're doing.
I said they're wrong within my moral framework, and that's a
yeah,
perfectly
but
valid
that's just your
statement.
feelings. No, it's just your feelings.
And
Your
those are your
don't
feelings
matter.
that Christianity is true and that you should abide by
No.
that framework. That's your feelings. I'm sorry.
No.
Even if God does exist, that would just be your feelings about God because you wouldn't be able to prove to me that any of your moral framework is actually factually true beyond God said it was true.
Yeah, but I have a guide that tells me what's right or wrong, whether I like it or
Great.
not.
I could have a completely different God that says you're wrong about everything. There you go.
Yeah, but
now
you
I
don't. You
win.
have nothing,
What's the
which means you don't
point?
actually believe it's wrong. The point is that you don't actually believe it wrong, but you're trying to tell me you do.
I'm sorry. This is just the most brain dead argument. I'm gonna go back
Is
to
it? Okay,
Benjamin's.
what's wrong? Okay, hold on.
debating
Did you? Okay,
Benjamin
do you
here.
think it's wrong for them to flatten the neighborhood?
Jesus. Do you think it's
Do you
wrong
think
for
it-
Christians to die? I don't think it's
maybe.
wrong for Christians to die. Can you prove it within my atheist framework that it's wrong for Christians to die? No, you can't. Because I'm just going to reject every argument you make. So what's the point of the argument? There is no point
Well, I'm
of the
asking
argument,
you in
right?
your framework, what's wrong with it?
In my framework, I hold certain values to humans in general, regardless of the
Uh-huh.
religious viewpoint. Do you see? Do you see how that's
Uh-huh.
not going to be
Yeah,
any
but
way
what if they're
compatible with
trying
your
to kill
framework?
you?
If they're trying to kill me, that's different. Okay? However, we also
Is
have
it?
to look at it from a completely different framework of why are they trying to kill me? Did I do something? Right? And
No.
no.
Yeah, hold on. Both
Yeah,
of
no,
the
they
parties
didn't do
in this
anything,
conflict,
right?
both of the parties in this conflict have
Logic,
just plenty
how
to
can you
justify
wait,
complete
no,
annihilation.
Stop, 'cause I hate this about Gaza. What argument could you make after 2005 that they had a right 20 years later to attack them? Because I feel like you don't even do you know about the second Intifada? Do you know what happened?
Yes, I
Like
know
I have
what
to try and assess how much actual knowledge you have of the conflict.
You have to understand that if
I mean, I'd argue you both made plenty of
answer the
reasonings to be
fucking
annihilated.
question, because otherwise, frankly, I don't want to waste my time with you.
what
do
do
you
you think
know
was
about
the
the Second
cause of the
Intifada?
second intifada? Do you think
Do
the
you know-
Palestinians were happy with their current situation or that they were being pressured and
What
they didn't like
happened at the-
their lifestyle?
Please stop with the bullshit. What happened at the end of the second Intifada? This is a history question. If
God
you don't
came
know this
down with a carriage and said, "You're all
See, if
my
you don't know
children."
this stuff, like you literally have, if you,
This is
to
what
be honest-
atheism is.
I'm
They
trying.
mock you.
I'm trying to I'm trying to get into the weeds of why it's happening and how you can stop it.
I just
And
want
you're
you
trying to
answer
just
the
justify
question.
a one-sided bloodbath. I don't know, like,
Yes.
I'm not gonna, like, get into that. And I say it's a
There's
one-sided
plenty of
bloodbath, not because
justifications.
Israelis aren't dying,
Dude,
but
you
because
just say you don't know anything about the history of the conflict. You don't have to go around this fucking like beating
Okay,
around the
how
bush.
about we talk about
Just
the
say,
history
"I
from the
don't know
conflict? Let's
about the
let's
history of the
start. What
conflict."
year do you want to start? I'm ready right now to
I
go with
asked
you
you
in
Let's
what
any
happened
year of
at
this
the end of the
conflict.
Let's start
second
year-
intifada. You
year
should know this if you want to talk about the
33.
conflict. Tell me what
I
happened
can't
at
hear
the end of the
both of you when
second
you both
intifada.
talk. What happened at the end of the second intifada?
This is the problem with these people. They don't even
I'm
fucking
trying
know
to
the
figure out
history
what you
about
just
the
asked
conflict.
because he was talking too. Just ask
I've
the
asked you
question.
10 times. How many times do I have to ask you in order for
Just
you to
being
one
answer?
final
intentionally
time.
dishonest.
One final time. What was the question?
Wait, you didn't hear me?
Clearly, he has brain damage. He can't comprehend English.
He has to be, dude. I'm asking you what
It's
happened at
called
the end of the
dishonesty,
second
and it's the
intifada.
fucking
Do you see
tool
how,
of the
like, as
atheist.
soon as he asked the question, you started talking and then he cut off?
He's asked it like multiple times
Well,
without me
you've
interrupting.
cut him
guy's
off like
gotta be
multiple
trolling, dude.
I'm
times.
talking now because he's asked it so many times. It's ridiculous that you're still asking. It's
I
dishonest.
asked if he's
He's probably
asking what
Googling
happened
it,
at the
and
end
he
of the
doesn't
second
fucking
intifada.
know,
Is that
dude.
the question?
He's
Just so I know it's just so I know that that's the question.
You're
Yes or
allowed to
no?
Google
Was
it,
that the
and I'm not gonna
question?
put you
I'm
down
not
for it.
googling.
But
My
just, like,
hands are
don't-
literally crossed
don't-
right
don't,
now.
Don't waste our time anymore, dude. Come on.
Okay.
Anyway, as much as I dislike Jews, Benjamin, you have every justification to wipe Gaza off the face of the earth.
Yeah, 100%, dude.
I'm not gonna look. To be fair, I don't think that. I think Gaza has plenty of reasons to have disdain for Israel too. But in this conflict, I don't know, man. The Gazans are kind of a little bit more shitty. A little bit, tiny bit.
Logic, what happened at the end of the second intifada?
People died.
No, dude. At the end of the second intifada, Israel used to control Gaza in its entirety. There used to be Jews there in settlements, right?
Mhm.
Like they had all sorts of businesses and stuff. Israel went in and forced every single Jew in the area to leave.
They
And
literally
they-
dragged them out.
Yeah, literally dragged them out
Yeah.
and then gave the land to the Palestinians.
Yeah.
And
You
fast
think
forward
that's
2
what
decades.
happened?
And then what happened? Then they
No,
continued
I
to
said
fight.
you think that's what happened.
No, that's
not what you
literally
think,
what
that's
happened.
You were
That's
dragged out.
literally what happened. Go look it up, dude.
Literally happened.
And this is a problem. Like people
I-
don't
I'm
even
not-
know the
I'm not-
history of this conflict.
I'm not saying what you said didn't happen. I'm talking about the framing of what you're saying. You said
Just
that
go look it up,
they
dude, go.
gave the land to so there's a Palestine right now and they're just self-governing. Well, not right now, but
Yes,
like
they
at
elected
the
Hamas. And they had elections and they elected Hamas. Yeah.
and then what happened when they elected Hamas? What happened then?
And they continued to try and wage a war with Israel.
So you don't know what happened? Okay,
What do you mean? I don't know what happened.
I'm
They
sorry. Was
voted Hamas in.
Palestine a sovereign nation when the thing after the second Intifada when they put in the Palestinian Authority, like you said?
They didn't put the Palestinian Authority in. They gave it to the Gazans, and the Gazans had elections. They picked who they wanted to elect them or to represent
Were they
them.
sovereign? I'm sorry. Were they sovereign?
They were sovereign to have the election. Yes. Israel
That's
was
just
not
not
in
true.
there.
What happened after they elected Hamas?
Israel puts a blockade.
How do you put a blockade on a sovereign nation?
You close the border with them. We literally did it to Cuba.
No, if you close
swear these people have,
they
like,
didn't close
retarded
their
logic.
border with them. They closed their border. All of their borders are blocked. You can't do that to a
Okay,
sovereign nation.
okay,
You can
they
close
have-
your
No,
border with
entirely
them. If you're a
blocked
sovereign, if they're a sovereign nation, you can't close their borders all around
Dude, we
them. That's not a
completely
sovereign
blocked
nation.
Literally
And
can't
what
close
happened
the
when they
border
elected
with your
Hamas? They
neighbor.
rejected. Israel
you're
came
so
in and
dumb, dude.
vetoed their election. They said, no, you can't have
Like,
Hamas.
anything,
That's what
anything
happened.
you can do to not admit that you are not.
You just said they
informed.
were sovereign. You just said they were sovereign. That's factually untrue. Can you
Who
admit
runs
that that's
their
factually
government?
untrue?
Logic. Who runs their government? Because I don't want to sit here and have because this is a very low IQ tactic. Well, what's really sovereignty? Like, come on, who runs their
Okay, can
government?
I believe it's
okay,
originally
hold
a
on.
Jewish debate tactic.
Hold
I-
on.
Is it
Hold
is it
on.
Palestinians? Is it
Can they
Palestinians?
negotiate their own? Can they negotiate their own dealings with other countries if they want to exchange goods?
Yes.
Can they run their own economy?
Yes.
Great. None of that is
literally
true.
do.
I would hope you would search that up. That they were not sovereign. They did not have any meaningful power other than to govern themselves on a very small scale. Any
You're so
big,
fucking
meaningful
dumb.
decision
Holy
was
shit.
basically made by Israel. They were not sovereign. And when Hamas was elected, it wasn't like, Hamas is now in control. No, the US and Israel both rejected their election results, said, you can't have Hamas elected. That's what happened. You can't do that to a sovereign
US didn't
nation,
veto it.
and it is not about what the word
Just
sovereign
recognize it.
means. It's not even close about like some kind of semantics. They simply were not given
Israel
self.
reject the election results. Let's see if you're even true on that. I don't.
You don't even know?
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think
Okay,
that's what
I'm
happened.
sure they're just saying that they were
Israel
sovereign like they
drops
were self.
effort to ban Hamas from elections. This is the problem with you fucking people. They had their
I know.
election and they
Okay.
picked who they wanted. They picked Hamas.
Okay, and
Hey,
then
yo,
what happened?
I heard that.
And then
I
what
heard that you
happened?
has the first recorded.
And then what
And then
happened?
what
Hamas
And then what
took over.
happened?
And then what happened? What happened?
What happened after the
Fucking
election?
retard.
I mean, we're arguing about the
I'll do better
facts.
than this.
Did you see that you were wrong and now suddenly you're okay?
No, I'm not. I looked it up. This is dude. I can't post links in this chat.
All you
I
did
can't
was
post-
say, all you
Look.
did was quote
No,
a sentence that
no.
said that they weren't going to interfere with having them on the ballot. What happened when they actually got elected?
I think you guys should take this to
I just
serious
gotta read
debate
the-
so
I'm
that
just-
there can be proper moderation.
I'm just gonna read it right now. Israel has dropped
Okay.
its campaign to ban the violent Islamic Hamas from Palestinian parliamentary elections, admitting defeat after President Bush pointedly skipped repeating the demand in a public appearance with the Palestinian leader last week. Israel
Okay.
says it is still strongly opposed to Hamas participation because its charter calls for the destruction of the Jewish state, but it will
Okay.
take no steps to stop it. Are we going to
Okay.
go to war on this issue or interfere in this issue? No, a senior official
You.
said Sunday.
Okay.
Well,
And then
Also,
can you tell me
Israel
what
said if
happened
Hamas took
after the
part in a
election when
Palestinian
Hamas
government,
won?
there would be no hope for peace talks. That
You.
You're
threat
so
still
scared of
hangs
the
in the
question.
air.
You're so scared of the
This
question. What
or-
happened
this
after Hamas won?
organization will not be a
What happened
legitimate
after
partner
Hamas
for
won?
peace,
It's
said
I'm just gonna
one
ask you the
official
same
in
exact
Hamas.
question.
During the
Please,
last
I'll-
5 years,
wait, I'll answer
Hamas
your
carried out
logic.
dozens of suicide bombing
logic,
attacks,
ignore
which
the
have
guy
killed
real quick,
hundreds
and
of
that's the thing.
Israelis.
I
You wanna know
official
what
think this
happened?
conversation's
condition
done
of
anyway.
anonymity,
You wanna hear what
because
happened,
they are not
Logic?
authorized to make
What
Just
a
read
happened?
them
I
real
can't
quick.
hear you over the Jew and the retard talking.
Yes. Oh, Hugh, I'll talk to you in 1 second. Logic, mute the guy real quick. What happened is they killed their opposition, and then they got instantly blockaded by Israel and Egypt. There
Yes.
you go. Cry about it. Now, Hugh,
That's my argument of what
I-
happened. He's the one saying
I
that didn't happen,
sadly-
apparently.
I sadly
I literally
got
said there's a
Swedishified.
You're so dumb.
I was
Uh-huh.
scrolling on Reels, and a reel from Azerbaijan
It's okay.
Technologies
You don't have
popped
to
up.
admit when you're wrong. It
And-
doesn't matter.
You said
You
they're a
got a
sovereign
Swedish-
nation and
It made me
that they closed
Swedish,
their
and
border
now I
with
feel bad, 'cause I
with
feel
Palestine.
Swedish
That's
I'm
ridiculous.
Swedish now.
How did this happen?
Well, they
I
are
was
a sovereign
scrolling on
nation.
We
Twitter.
killed
We're
all
not
of you ages
sovereign.
ago.
I would
I was
urge you
scrolling
to
Dude,
on
look
hold on,
up
other
Reels.
chat. Dude,
simply.
I can't
Okay.
with fucking John. And
You
Nick,
guys
dude.
should go to serious debate.
All right, holy shit.
Okay.
How are you not wrong in what you said after I read that article? Because you were telling me that Israel intervened
Right.
and stopped the election.
They
That is
didn't
not what
stop the
happened.
election. That's not what happened. What
Okay,
happened
so
was
I want
after
you to
the
say
election
I was wrong
happened.
about that.
That's
Say
not what I.
was
Well,
wrong
that's
about
not what I
that.
said. I
Fine,
said
then
once
don't.
they
It's a good
elected
life skill.
Hamas, they
It's a good
rejected
life
those
skill to admit when
results.
you're wrong, but
They
whatever, you don't have
rejected the election results. I
You
didn't
don't
say
have
they didn't put them on the ballot. I said what happened after Hamas won the election.
I
Right?
said I
You
literally
understand that I was
prefaced
asking
with the
after the
blockade
election?
it.
You understand I was asking
prefaced-
after the election and you were talking
I
before
already-
the election, right?
Just keep everything concise here because I want to go to bed soon. So
Okay.
I already prefaced what they put a blockade in.
Yeah,
Why
but
did
you
they
said the
put a
blockade was
blockade in?
only between them and Palestine, right? Israel and Palestine.
Literally, yes.
But no, they blockaded all of Gaza.
No, they didn't.
I'm sorry, yes they did.
Okay,
Gaza was blockaded.
you need a map, okay? And I want you to admit you're wrong on this too after we're done, because clearly you've never seen a map of Gaza and Israel. So let's pull one up.
Okay.
Here you go. I'm gonna put this in chat. Oh, I can't put. Damn, you can't talk in this one. Fuck. All right. Look in voice chat text. I'm gonna ping you in it. Because with this, dude, I know a lot about this topic. It's just easier if you don't call bullshit on everything I say, because it's gonna take forever to get through it. Do you see? There's only 2 borders with Israel and Gaza. What is the 3rd border with Gaza?
Hold on, let me pull it up.
I'll
It's in
just
the
save you
chat.
time. It's Egypt. So the 2 crossings into Israel were blockaded. The only reason they were fully isolated is because Egypt also blocked them. Do you know why?
Yes, because the U.S. and Israel wanted to blockade Gaza.
It is much more complicated than that. Did you know
Sure.
the Palestinians killed the Egyptian prime minister? Did they tell you about that?
Did they tell
Probably
me
not,
about
right?
that?
Do
You
you think
understand?
that doesn't have an impact?
I'm sorry, but the reason that
You think that
the reason that the reason that Gaza was blockaded.
If Mexico killed our president, you don't think that that we might blockade them?
Well, two
We're
important things here, which is that they were blockaded because Israel and the U.S. refused to recognize Hamas as a good leader of the Palestinian people there. They basically rejected their democratic process. They said, no, we're not going to accept that you just voted these people in.
No,
And
they accepted it.
They didn't
They just
accept
said
it.
they did accept it.
That's not true.
We just went through the article.
Well, I'll just say the article was about whether they would be on the ballot or not and whether they could be part of parliament. But once you win the election, you basically control all of that, right? And they rejected Hamas
They have
having a
nothing
majority
to do.
control.
Wait, you
They rejected
understand
Hamas having a majority control. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna make my other point too, and then you can refute them both if you want to. And then the other point is also what they could control within their government. Their sovereignty, as you called it, where in reality all of the big decisions in Gaza or the Palestinian people was basically done by Israel. Israel did not give them sovereignty.
What?
Israel gave them
Dude,
limited
I
self-governance.
can't,
That's
dude.
what that's called. It's a very limited
Honestly,
self-governance.
You have to prove that. I want you to go prove that.
Okay, I will Google it right
This
now.
is the problem. You don't.
Did
you don't
Israel?
want to stand on anything.
I'm sorry. I'll Google it right now. Did
Israel was not
give
making decisions
sovereignty?
for them. You're out of your fucking mind, dude.
Sure, but I'll just look that up. Israel give sovereignty.
And then we have to sit and waste more
Gaza.
time because you don't want to deprogram yourself. Like I can't make you do it.
I mean, I'll just look up the facts, right?
That's why I asked you earlier. Like, do you want to be right on this
So
conflict?
no, Israel did not grant full sovereignty to Gaza in 2005, while Israel withdrew its settlers and ground troops. It retained significant control over the territory's external affairs, which meant Gaza did not achieve full independence or sovereignty. Continued control, Israel maintained control over Gaza's airspace, coastline, and most of its land borders. Effective control under international law, a territory is considered occupied if a belligerent authority is established and exercised over, basically effective control. Even without a permanent physical military presence inside the territory, Israel's ability to control the movement of goods and people in and out of Gaza and conduct military operations meant it still exercised effective control. Limited Palestinian Authority assumed control of the interior of the Gaza Strip, but its governing authority was limited by the ongoing Israeli control.
What control did Israel have over the government of Gaza?
I'm sorry. What do you mean by the government of Gaza? When what
control? Elected government of Gaza. They have a government.
Okay. And so control here is very vague.
Government. It is different. It is also not administered by Israel. It is the Palestinian Authority.
Well, the PA is basically administered by Israel. But the thing,
No, it's not. They might have better relations with Israel, but no, it is not the Israelis who run the West Bank government.
if you are blockaded, do you have sovereignty?
The West Bank is not blockaded.
I'm not talking about the West Bank. We're talking about Gaza. If you
See,
are, I
please
hope we're
stop. Please
just
stop
talking about
moving.
Gaza right now, right?
Please. Well, you want to talk about the whole conflict here, so
Well,
obviously the West
but
Bank
we're
will enter
disagreeing on
politics
Gaza
from time to
specifically.
time.
We're disagreeing about Gaza specifically, where after Hamas was elected, no, Israel didn't come in and say your government actually has to do this other thing. They came in and said, look, we actually completely reject your democratic process and we're going to blockade you.
Whatever.
And
This-
I just want you to understand that the government did not have complete control over what happens in Gaza because Israel still controlled, like this said, their airspace, their coastline, and most of its land borders.
The Israelis were not in Gaza. They're not fucking running the services in Gaza. It's Hamas. What are you talking about?
If you have a slave in your house and you go to work, is it still your slave? Or as soon as you leave the house, the slave becomes free?
That's the irritating thing. Like,
I
it's
mean,
one
it
thing
literally
to
says the
just
definition of an occupation,
you
and
have to be pretentious about it as well.
I'm not being pretentious. It's about
Did you
effective
go to
control.
college? Like, what is your deal where you have to like?
It's
fucking
about
match-
effective control because
Did
they
you not
had
go to
effective
college?
control.
What is your issue?
I don't know. I don't know what you. Me being right does not mean I'm being. does
How-
not mean I'm
how are
being
you right?
pretentious.
Wait. Okay. I want to save time here. I'm just gonna pull up
Sure.
ChatGPT, and every time you
Sure.
say something bullshit, we're just gonna plug it in. Okay?
I'm 100% fine with that.
Because otherwise, this will take.
But like, we both have to agree what you're asking it, right? So that you're not misquoting
What was
me.
your statement before again that pissed me off?
I don't
Israel
remember.
controls the government of Gaza. Okay.
I did not say that. Well, hold on.
Well, how
Hold
would you
on.
phrase it?
Let me phrase it,
Just
and then you
phrase
can
it in
tell me
one
if I
sentence.
changed, right? And
Phrase
you
it
can tell
in
me.
one sentence. I don't
Okay,
want any more
okay.
bullshit.
All
Phrase
right.
it in
Okay.
one sentence.
Okay.
Now.
The government of Gaza had limited control because Israel still maintained control over the big decisions over the Gaza people, we'll say. I phrased that poorly, but because you wanted it in one sentence.
So did the government of Gaza have limited control over
Over sure, over its territory and over its like basically limited sovereignty. You could say that they had limited sovereignty and that Israel basically made all the
Let's
big boy
define
decisions.
sovereignty first, because I might not
Sure.
disagree with you, right?
Sovereignty means you basically have power over yourself.
Well, that's true. I mean, they do have control over themselves.
Oh, let me look up the definition just so like we're being precise. Supreme power or
But you
authority,
understand they're a
authority of
stateless
self-govern.
nation, right? You
What?
understand they're a stateless nation. Like, even though they have a government, they're stateless. That's because their state is not recognized.
Sure, that's not the point. The point is whether they can self-govern themselves. So it doesn't matter that if it's Palestine or not. But the thing is that they want to be Palestine, right? But if they can't establish their own nation, if they want to, they're not really self-governing, right? Because somebody else had the final say and said, no, you can't
But
just
the
be
final say
Palestine.
is Hamas. Like, in what happens in Gaza is literally Hamas. Like, Israel is not in Gaza.
Again, they don't have to be in God. Like, do you
This
understand? You
argument
can
you're
be
making-
in effective control without being in there.
How
Because
are they in control of Hamas?
how do they control their airspace, and how do they control their borders, and how do they control the land? Right?
Well, they do control the borders. Israel controls its own borders that it has with Gaza.
Sure.
And it says you can't come in here because during the second Intifada,
But
they were
also that
blowing
means
people up.
goods can't
They were
flow in and
blowing
out.
people up on buses every single week. Okay, so they close the borders.
But their
Obviously-
coastline as well, right? So their coastline was also controlled by Israel. So if they wanted to like make a deal such that ships can come in with goods, I don't think they could do that because Israel would veto that. Basically, they wouldn't
Yeah,
allow them
yeah,
to do
that's
that.
fair. That's true. That's actually true. Yes, but the actual government itself, no.
But I'm basically asking you, what could the government do, right? What
It
is
could
what can
negotiate
the
with
go
state.
like
do you mean,
what?
what can they do?
What could that government do over its Palestinian people to help them to move the economy along, to create jobs, to do anything like important that you would think of a sovereign nation being able to do? And it didn't have the means to do any of that because Israel was ultimately in control of Gaza. And you could say, but they weren't in there. They don't have to be in there when you control all of the important resources and all of that. When they're in there physically, they're controlling the people. It's almost like micromanaging. When they
Yeah, but
pulled
what
out,
about
they basically
this?
just stopped
Wait.
micromanaging the Palestinians.
You're trying to escape the fact that they have a third border, and that border is with Egypt.
But they
Why
also
won't
have like a
Egypt-
giant river right next to them, right?
No, they have a land border with Egypt.
Yeah, but
They have a
Gaza,
regular ass land border with Egypt. Gaza used to be part of Egypt. When Israel gave the Sinai back to Egypt, Egypt
yeah,
took
the
all
Mediterranean
the
Sea. The Gaza has the Mediterranean Sea on its back. How
It
how
has
do
a border with Egypt. This is what I sent you the map, dude.
Yes, but I'm saying if Gaza has the Mediterranean Sea to its back, okay, Israel blocked it off, and okay, Egypt blocked it off. Okay, what about the sea? How do you block it off from the sea if they're a sovereign nation? How are you controlling their coastline if they're a sovereign nation? Not even a sovereign nation, just sovereign people who can govern themselves. How are you controlling their coastline?
Will you be good faith for a minute?
I've been good faith from the beginning.
Seriously, will you be good faith when I say this?
Okay, let's hear it. Let's hear it.
All right, I'm gonna go get you a chart right now. And then you should just intuitively understand why you might blockade the sea.
Okay,
as
I
well.
don't care if there's a good reason. All I'm saying is I'm fighting on this one specific
There is
point
a
that
good-
you said they
there
can
is-
govern
there is-
themselves
there is a good-
like they have
can govern
sovereignty when they
themselves.
can't.
Wait,
That they can't
just
do that.
be good faith for a minute.
I'm
don't
sorry. Did
have
you
to say
ask
anything else.
ChatGPT?
No.
Did you ask ChatGPT? I'm curious. I guess you didn't bring it up again.
I just want you.
He didn't agree with you, did he? ChatGPT did not agree with you, did he?
No, I didn't put anything in there. I just want you to look at this first. Just stop. I want you to look at this and think.
How does this
okay?
help your argument?
What do you mean?
Because you said that they pulled out and now the Palestinians can govern themselves. So I'm just asking you,
Yes,
how is
okay,
that
look.
true if they can't do anything that a self-governing body
Alright, we
could
gotta get
actually
dates.
do?
We have to get dates and everything, dude, because you're gonna continue to be bad faith. You won't even look at it.
You said it was 2005. In 2005, the disengagement, it says right there, it went down significantly from 280 rockets to 180.
Please be good faith for a minute and be quiet.
And then in 2006, when they
the blockade starts in 2007. So what are you talking about?
yeah, but
So
their
you're not being good
election results were denied in
You're- you're- you're not-
2006.
You're not
Hold
good
on,
faith.
hold on.
You're intentionally
Uh,
being bad faith.
I'm not
That's
being
why I have
bad
to
faith.
ask. Like, are you going to be good faith about it?
Israel
Because
imposed the initial phase of its blockade in February of 2006. They intensified the blockade in 2007, but it began in 2006. The
And you don't think
blockade
there's
was
a
first
reason?
imposed in 2006 as soon as Hamas won the election. It was then tightened in 2007. And that's from AmericanFriendServiceCommittee.org. And
Why are you defending Hamas?
I'm not defending Hamas. We're having a very I'm attacking one specific point, which is that you're saying that in 2005, when Israel pulled out its forces and its people, that now they had sovereign control and they could govern themselves. I'm saying that's not
They
true.
did.
Israel,
They had an
Can you
opportunity to
ask?
govern
Can you
themselves.
ask ChatGPT that? Can you ask ChatGPT if they had self-governance or if Israel was still in massive control over
Wait,
what
I'm
was
gonna ask,
possible?
does Gaza have self-governance?
Okay, well now you just they're not. It's not gonna agree with you even if you word
Well,
it like
only
that. But
partially. The
yeah,
Gaza
right there,
Strip
it's
does
not gonna
have
agree with you,
elements
right?
of
Even and you
self-government,
worded
but
it
it's not
poorly.
fully independent. Its governance is
Exactly.
complicated by external controls and internal power contests. Who
There
is
you
supposed
go.
to govern? The PA. Who governs now? Hamas.
The Palestinian Authority is not. Okay, I don't know what to tell you, bro.
Dude, they fought a war. You don't know any of the history of this conflict. That's the problem.
I know the history of
And
the
then you
conflict.
also don't want to be good faith. Like you don't want to
I'm
just
be-
like listen.
if
You
I'm
should
sorry,
be
you
able to
said
just
that they
like
had.
look at this.
I'm trying to make a bigger point that Israel is basically facilitating its own terrorism by continually pressing down on the Palestinian people. And the more they press down, the more angry the Palestinians become, the more violent they become, the more terrorism that occurs. And the more terrorism that occurs, the more Israel says, look how terroristic and terrible these people are. We have to put our thumb down on them even harder. And that creates a cycle where it seems like they want to eliminate the Palestinian people by continually framing them as terrorists when they're forcing
Holy
them
shit.
to be
This is
in
the
that
most
position.
bad faith argument I've
And
ever
you're
seen in my
saying
entire
that's
life.
wrong because
We
they were
have to
given
talk about
self-governance. And I'm telling you, they were
we
not
can
given
I hate fuck
self-governance.
you, dude. Fuck you for we can talk about Israel's government, but you won't talk about Hamas.
We can, okay, let's talk about Hamas. You want to talk about
Actually,
Hamas?
fuck you for that because it's ridiculous, dude.
Okay, let's talk about Hamas.
Obviously,
What do you
there's a
want to talk
reason for the
about?
blockade.
Okay,
Well, how about the
because they
Hamas
were
charter?
elected, right?
How about the Hamas charter?
What did
Like,
Hamas
that's
do?
fucking-
What did Hamas do that warranted the blockade at that point?
I just sent you the fucking. How many rocket attacks does somebody have to fire at you for you to be at war with them or not to want to do business with them?
Was
Are you
that
insane?
the government doing that, or was that a terrorist organization?
Oh my god, the terrorist organization, quote unquote, is the government.
Then why was the PA not what? Why was the PA not?
Because the PA doesn't want Hamas to be in charge either. This is a uber complicated thing.
Okay.
You haven't researched any aspects
They
of it. So you
elected
don't know.
Hamas because Hamas
Yes, they
was
elected
very
Hamas
tough on
regardless.
Israel. Hamas took a very hostile stance towards Israel, which resonated with the Palestinian people. Okay? Israel did not like that. Israel was not being terrorized by the government of the Palestinians.
were
That's not what
killing
was
people.
terrorizing them, but they were worried about Hamas, and so they came in and they did this blockade, okay? And they basically said, look, not only was your government fake, we're going to basically dismantle it by blockading you. That's what happened. Now you can say maybe Hamas really was bad and it's actually really bad and they shouldn't have had Hamas running the
You're getting
thing.
distracted because it's just so much bullshit here. Like, have you read the Hamas charter? Like, do you understand Hamas? Like, I have to ask you these questions, and it's not because like I'm trying to like be a dick to you or to make you feel stupid. You didn't know about the Second Intifada. Like, have you ever looked at the Hamas charter?
I know about the
There's
second
so many.
intifada.
There's
I
I
don't.
wish you would just listen. Because there's a
Sure.
lot here, and you don't have all the pieces, and you're trying to write a story.
I
for
think you don't
something
have
that-
all the pieces. So let's work together, see what pieces we both have.
Can I be uninterrupted for like 3 minutes? Can I
That's,
have 3
that's actually a
minutes?
long time. I'll give you 45 seconds.
I can't go through it in 45 seconds.
Are you gonna walk me through the history of Gaza and fucking Israel right now?
No, it's Hamas and the Palestinian Authority. Like, that's one aspect of it, and then the Hamas charter, because obviously you haven't looked at it. Will you just see that's another annoying thing too? Like, I like to move very quickly. Just say yes or no if you've read the Hamas charter. Yes or no.
No, I have not read the Hamas charter.
Well, let's start there. We'll take this one step at a time.
Okay.
There's one part of the Hamas charter I just want you to understand, because a lot of this stuff is obfuscated in the Palestinian movement. I'm gonna get the exact quote from you for you right now.
Mm.
And this is from 1988. I'm pretty sure. I'll get the exact date too. When was the Hamas charter made? Yes, in 1988. Okay. In the Hamas charter, it says Israel will exist and will continue to exist until Islam will obliterate it, just as it obliterated others before it. Okay?
Okay.
Also in the charter, it says they will not accept the two-state solution.
Okay.
That is very important. It is critical to the issues we're having now.
All right.
Do you see how that would be critical?
Yeah.
That's absolutely critical. Now, for Hamas and the Palestinian Authority's relationship, because this is important right now, you know why there's not regular elections in the West Bank, in the rest of Palestine?
I don't really want to talk about the rest of Palestine, but you can say if you think it's important.
It's incredibly important. They don't have elections. Don't you want to know why?
Because they're not a sovereign nation. That's why they don't have elections.
That's not why. They don't want to have elections because you know who would win? It wouldn't be the PA. Who would win the elections in the West Bank if they had an election right now?
So they're not sovereign. Yes, that's exactly what I just said.
No, I want you to answer the question.
I'm sorry.
If there was an election right
if
now,
America couldn't have an election because everyone knew that the U.S. would
what is
elect
this thing you're doing
Trump,
in your brain
then
right now?
the U.S. wouldn't be sovereign, right? I
Dude,
said they
we're
can't
not-
have an election because they're not sovereign, right? They're under the control of Israel.
No, they could have an election. I'm asking you why they don't want to have an election.
Are you saying the people who want to elect Hamas don't want to elect Hamas, so they don't have an election?
The PA, who's in control of the government of the West Bank, does not want to have another election.
Is the PA independent, or do they...
Yes.
I mean, I just don't know what to tell you about that. It's obviously not true.
They are independent.
Do you want to chat GPT that?
Okay. I don't even know why I'm doing this. Is the PA independent? Of the
Or does
government?
Israel have final say?
They have limited self-rule.
Yes, it's limited. It's always been that way. Israel has always had actual control.
Control of what? What can't the PA do?
ChatGPT is right there. Okay.
Well, if I have to debate with ChatGPT, like,
Well, I'm not going to
obviously-
give you a better answer, obviously, but I'm going to say that, you know, like before
Well,
their coastline,
you know the
search,
topic, you
right?
should be able-
Well,
you should
that
be able
I'm
to
telling you
answer
right
it.
now. I'm telling you right now. They don't have control over their coastline. They don't have control over their economy. They
There
don't have
is no
control.
coastline in
They
the
d-
West
They
Bank.
don't have control over what
Stop.
goods they're
Stop.
able
You're
to
already
have.
wrong. That gets thrown out. No, you're already wrong. Terrible, terrible argument. There is no coastline.
Well, I obviously I was also talking about Gaza there, but most of these things apply. There's different sections. I'm not gonna like go in and
asked
think
you
about
what
every
PA
different
I'm
fucking
gonna give you
part
another shot
A
at
and
it.
part B and part C. I'm not
This
gonna go
time,
in through
think
that.
about it. This time, actually think about it. Okay, what can't the PA do that
Can the
another
PA
sovereign
declare
state-
war? Can the PA create an army? Can the PA protect its sovereignty? Okay, very easy ones right off the bat. I'm not even gonna like. I'm trying to be good faith with you and talk about. I'm trying to be good faith and talk about things that specifically affect the people of Palestine, and you're over here trying to be completely on good faith about this. They can't do any of the things that a sovereign nation can do. Okay, they have limited control basically over their own people. Oh, you can have like licenses, you can go here, you can have like a permit to do something, but ultimately if Israel comes in and says this is what I want, they don't have a choice in that matter. That is simply how it is. If you don't believe me, you can ask ChatGPT.
They have their own police. I'm pretty sure they have their own military.
Well, no shit, they're gonna have their own police. They don't have their own military. That would be insane. That would be absolutely insane. For Israel to have control over them and be like, you know what, you can have your own military. That is absolutely asinine that you even suggested that that's something that could happen. Any military there is going to be considered a terrorist group, okay? That is simply how it is.
Shut up.
Yeah, no more talking, so you can ask ChatGPT. Okay.
No, I'm not. I don't have to ask ChatGPT.
Well, maybe you should.
I've been studying this for years.
I'm willing to accept ChatGPT's answer and not what you're about to say. Ask ChatGPT.
Whatever, dude. This is the problem. You don't want to know the history of it.
No, I said ask ChatGPT and tell me that. I'll believe that, 100%.
Literally came from the military of Palestine, the PLO. I bet you didn't know that. Of course you didn't know that.
Let's see. What's your claim? What's your claim? I'll look it up right now. What's your claim?
Did Fatah come from the PLO?
Did Fatah come from the PLO? What's the PLO? The Palestinian...
Yeah, dude, look it up.
No, Fatah did not come from the PLO. Fatah was founded first as an independent movement in the late 1950s by members of the Palestinian diaspora, including Yasser Arafat. Fatah joined the Palestinian Liberation Organization in 1967, was allocated 33 of 105 seats. Fatah was the first national liberation movement since 1948 to be started by the Palestinians themselves, and was brought together by Palestinian activists. Fatah is a Palestinian political faction formed in 1959, later became the dominant faction in the Palestinian Liberation Organization. Yeah.
What's the Al-Aqsa Martyrs Brigade?
I'm sorry. You can't be wrong and then jump from one thing. You've been wrong every step of the way, and you don't admit you're wrong about anything. You just go deeper and deeper, and then we're not getting anywhere. You're just making more and more claims.
Martyr Brigades is a formerly Fatah-aligned coalition of Palestinian armed groups in the West Bank and Gaza Strip.
Okay. What was it called?
Al-Aqsa Martyrs Brigades. They have their own military, dude.
Al-Aqsa Martyrs Brigade.
But it's kind of decentralized like this. There's the Al-Qassam Brigades.
You're involved in ongoing military. The AMA, a significant agreement signed.
I think Al-Qassam is the one.
And opening the Rafah status.
Oh no, Al-Qassam is not them.
Yeah, Al-Qassam says that this is in...
Al-Qassam is in Gaza.
Says it's a terrorist group.
What's the military? So there's political wing, which is like Hamas or Fatah, and then there's a military wing.
I mean, can I ask what you think? Why would Israel let them have a military? I mean, it seems like you think that as soon as they have arms, they're gonna go in and try to kill more.
That's why they put the blockade
so why would they let them have a military?
That's why they put the blockade in.
I'm wondering, why do you think?
At least you came around.
I'm not coming around. I'm trying to figure out how you even got to this.
That's why they put the blockade in. Yes, 100% agree with you.
Hold on. So you're saying that Israel said that they can self-govern, that they can create their own military, and then as soon as they made their own military, they got blockaded? I mean, does that make sense to you?
Yeah, 100%.
Well, I'm happy that you're happy. And if you want to find the truth, I encourage you to ask ChatGPT. I know it knows better than you. Okay? You can just ask it what you just said, that they were allowed to have a military, that Israel isn't in control of their
Well,
government and
no.
all of
You
that.
said,
And when
would
ChatGPT
Israel
disagrees with
allow
you
them
can
to
say
have a
everybody else
military?
is just anti-Jew or
No,
something.
it's fine. You said, why would Israel want to allow them to have a military? Which means
Yes, because
even
they
if
didn't
you
allow
prefer,
them.
this is why,
Yes,
to
because
me, this
even
is a
if,
win
because
you've already, you
no,
didn't even know
I'm
about the
questioning the
Second Intifada,
premise.
right?
I'm
I'm
questioning your
I'm I'm
premise.
I'm
Your
talking with somebody that didn't even know about the Second Intifada, and I got you at least even for a brief moment to
I know
see
what the second intifada is.
logically, Israel probably wouldn't want these groups to have a military.
Yes, but you're the one who was
Even if
arguing that
just
they
for a brief,
did.
even if just for a brief moment you
Oh
saw
my
it,
god.
then there you go.
You just agreed with me. I don't know what you're talking about. You just agreed with me. I said why would they want them to have a military and you said they probably wouldn't. Then why would they let them have a military? That was your claim that they let them have that.
Well, they didn't. They blockaded them. What do you want them to do? Go in there and wage a war?
Exactly, because they're not a sovereign nation. They couldn't have their own military.
Well, they did.
Oh my god.
But Israel did put the blockade in. The only way to stop a territory that has its own government and its own people, millions of them, from having a military is to go in and dismantle the military, which they didn't do. But they did blockade them, so the military had limited ability to get stronger.
Do you
That's what they did
agree
do.
that they had limited self-governance in that Israel really just had the final word on most major policy, economy, and military decisions in Gaza?
Well, not military. They make their own decisions.
Can you ask ChatGPT? If it says that that's true, I'll believe it. Okay? This is as good faith as I can possibly be.
This is your last one.
What do you mean
The
this is my last? Yeah,
military
ChatGPT hasn't
in
agreed
Gaza.
with you any step of the way.
Does Al-Qassam
Not any of this Al-Qassam. Does the PA have the authority to make its own military? Very
does the
simple.
Al-Qassam brigades
You
have
see,
authority to
okay.
make its own military decisions?
What? What? Are you?
Yes. The Al-Qassam
I'm so
brigade
sorry. This is the
has
dumbest. This is the
substantial
dumbest
autonomy in
question
military
I've ever.
decisions, though it ultimately
Wow.
answers
Okay.
to,
Yeah.
oh shit, never
Yeah.
mind.
Good job. Good job, bro.
No, I'm not
Good
gonna read the
job.
rest of that.
Yeah.
you were
Yeah.
right.
I
So
wonder
they
why
don't-
they're not. Wonder
they
why.
don't have full.
I
all right,
asked
let me
if the
read it.
government had the authority to make its own military, and then you asked if the military if a military group has power to make its own military decisions. That's insane.
What are you even debating here? How did they
You
have a
said the
military?
government
How-
could make its own decisions. I said the government cannot make its own military. You said they could. I said they couldn't. And then instead of asking ChatGPT
bad
if
for
the
you.
government could or could not have its
How
own
could you
military,
even sit here and debate this? Like,
Oh my
obviously
God.
they have a military because they fucking started a war. You retard. Like, how could you
I'm
even sit
sorry.
here
If
and
I'm
debate this?
because
Like, really, think
this is
about-
very
think
easy. I'm
about
going to
this.
make this very easy for you to
Use your
understand.
brain.
If I
How
if
the
I have a
fuck-
government,
how the
if
fuck
I
would
have a
they
government with a military,
if they
if
had
I have a
fucking
government with a military,
right
can
now?
that military be deemed a terrorist group? If my government has a military, can that military be deemed a terrorist group? No, it can't. No, it can't. Okay? If I say I have a military and that military is deemed by everybody to be a terrorist group, that means I have no sovereignty and they don't see my military actions as military actions. They see my actions as being hostile and terroristic. That is why they do not have the authority to have their own military. Not because they don't have arms and they don't have what you might call a militia, but because they are not actually allowed to have that. Israel does not want them to have that. They would not allow their self-governance to make that. That was not part of the plan.
They have. Oh my god, what am I doing?
I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what you're doing. I really have no clue.
Like, why would you even argue that they don't have a military when they have a military?
Because
I feel bad for
it's
you.
not a
What?
military, it's a militant group. If you say it's a military, you're saying
No,
it's established by the
it is-
government
okay,
and that they
let's-
have a government
okay, you
with
wanna-
sovereignty that they can actually
wanna make
establish
it
a
a semantic
military. That's not
argument?
how it works.
A semantic argument. First, we got to get we got to go through the whole process. So, because otherwise, you'll sit here and do this forever. Because rather than admit you're wrong.
You've been wrong every step of the way, and you've not admitted you're wrong in any part of this
Relating to
conversation.
or characteristic soldiers or armed forces.
And you're so disingenuous with everything you write to ChatGPT and Google. It's insane.
The adjective military is used to describe anything related to the armed forces or soldiers.
Good job.
I don't even know why I had to do that. Like, it obviously that shows low IQ that you would even argue that they have a military is insane. You understand how insane that is, right?
Does Israel have control over the government of the PA?
I need to give you an analogy to show you how ridiculous it is.
I don't need the analogy. It's very easy. Does Israel have the final word over the PA? Like, I'm not gonna get into this with you. You're refusing to ask ChatGPT actual relevant questions. You refuse to Google in good faith. You're not doing anything.
You can say whatever you want until I make my
because it's
analogy.
true. I guess we're no. I'm not letting you make some stupid analogy.
It's a hard line.
Well, then I don't need to debate this.
The analogy right now is like if
I
told you the sky is
don't
blue,
need to hear the analogy.
and then you said no, actually the sky is. It's the sky is obviously not just blue. There's a perfect hex code or whatever. Like there's another way, and like what are we doing here? Like the sky is blue.
I'm gonna try with you one last time. I'm gonna explain this as concisely and as easily as I think I can. You said that the government.
You pull up ChatGPT. I want you to do it.
Okay, I'll tell it to you. I'll tell it to you, and then I'll tell it to ChatGPT. How about that? I'll tell it to you, and then I'll tell it to ChatGPT to see if it'll agree. Is that good with you? So just so you can hear, just so you know what I'm gonna ask. Just so you know what I'm gonna ask.
What are you gonna ask?
Here's all I'm saying. All I'm saying is that the Palestinian Authority, the self-governance over the Palestinian people, did not have the final word on any big thing, right? Such as the military, okay? Israel had the final word, and Israel did not want them to have a military, okay? That's all I'm saying. Do you disagree with what I said? Do you think I said something false?
Cut off. Israel doesn't want them to have a military because I'm not going to disagree with that. So there's no reason you should need to ask that.
Okay, great. So here I am. I'm going to ask ChatGPT exactly. I'm going to say it to you as I'm writing it, and I'm going to make sure that you agree with me. With me.
Just put it in and then send a screenshot.
Okay. Does Gaza... Well, this was in like 2005, right? Did Gaza in 2005 through the PA...
No, the PA
through its government. Okay, through its government.
Its government. Hamas governs Gaza, dude.
In 2005,
if you
Hamas governed Gaza.
The PA has any authority in Gaza, like they should.
Okay, I'm just saying through its government. I'm not gonna specify what I'm not specifying who's in power. Okay, just the government. Is that good with you? In 2005, you're fine with that?
Do 2000.
2008. Okay.
Let's do well after the election and the blockade.
Okay, if that's what you want. Hold on. It fucking kicked me out. Just let me refresh the page. Okay, there we go. So I'm gonna ask GPT-5. So Gaza, I'm not. That's because that's not the point that we're debating. So in 2008, did Gaza? I'm not. In 2008, did Gaza's government have the authority to establish its own military?
Brigades, right? Is that what it
or
said?
did Israel have the final say?
Yeah, go ahead. You have to put that in there. Whatever, put that in there.
Okay, that's all in there.
'Cause you're 10 IQ. Go. Put
In
it
2008, the Gaza Strip was under the de facto control of Hamas, which had taken power in 2007 after a violent crash with Fatah and the Palestinian Authority.
That's what
However,
I'm saying.
Gaza did
This is-
not
no, I
have the
want you to stop
recognized
there.
sovereign
It's
authority.
so important. The relationship between the PA and
Jesus
Hamas.
Christ. Can I finish reading?
You didn't even want to talk about that. Like, it's crazy. How can we have a serious discussion about this, but you don't want to talk about the history?
Can I just read the answer? I can't even read the answer to you?
Go ahead. Keep reading.
Okay, I'll just read the summary so we can get through this quick. While Hamas exercised de facto military control in 2008, it lacked the legal authority to establish a recognized military force. Israel did not formally permit or recognize any Gaza-based military, and it maintained the final say on matters of external security and defense under existing international arrangements. If you do not agree with that, you can fight with ChatGPT. Okay? Okay, I'm glad.
How does that make me wrong?
How does that make you wrong? Do you even
Yeah,
know what we're
explain it.
arguing?
No, I want you to. You should be able to, like, in one sentence.
Okay, I'm
explain why
sorry.
wrong.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna read the
Explain how
question.
okay.
I'm gonna read the question
No,
again.
I just
In
want you-
2008, did Gaza's government have the authority to establish its own military, or did Israel have the final say?
How
You
fucking
would
dumb are
say
you? They
you would say
literally
that
made
they
it-
have their
they
own.
literally
You
made-
would say that they have their own authority, and that Israel does
Whatever.
not have the final say because they were sovereign. Okay, but the answer is no. Israel
What you wanted
maintained
it
the
to-
final say on matters
what's
of
pissing me
external
off.
security and defense
what-
under existing international arrangements. Okay, even though
This is what's
Hamas
pissing me
controlled
off.
the area,
You wanted it to say that Israel stopped them from having a military, or they. Israel
I didn't disagree
be-
with you that they had a military faction, but
You
to call it
literally
a
did.
military,
You
to
went on a
call it a
fucking
military,
tirade about
to
what the
call it a
definition of
military, you are
military
saying
is,
that the government
that they can't
established
be
it.
an
I said the
actual
government.
military
Like
because
I'm
they
not.
were
Like I'm
designated as a
sorry.
fucking
I'm
terror
sorry.
group, so they're not considered to be a
ChatGPT doesn't
military.
agree with you. I don't think we're gonna get anywhere here. This has just been an insane conversation to have.
Okay, look. I'll admit I'm wrong, so long as you say that you did go on a tirade about how Al-Qassam brigades are not a military. Will you say that?
How did I go on a? Look.
You did.
It depends on how we define military.
You did.
There are
you did
there.
say that,
I said
right?
what I said
And then
was you could
and then
describe them as a
plugged it into
militia.
ChatGPT. This is why I'm saying I
I
know what
said-
you tried to do. You
No.
you wanted it to say that Israel wouldn't allow them to have a military.
Yes, Israel would not allow
they
the
do
government to
have a
establish a
military.
military. I'm
What-
sorry.
and
Do
what-
you
and what
disagree
is-
with this statement that
But there-
Israel would not allow their government to establish a military?
That's self-determination.
They did not
Even
have
though Israel didn't
self-determination.
want- Even though Israel did not want them to have a military, they have a military.
Great. Is it the official military of the government? No.
Which, like, even though
No,
I
it's
might be
not, right?
wrong in how, even though I might be wrong in how you phrased it, like
How
the actual
phrasing is
like,
important.
The objective truth here is they do indeed have a military, and even though Israel doesn't want them to have one, they have one anyway.
The phrasing is important because you were arguing that they have
No, it's just
that they have sovereignty, that they can self-govern. Your argument was they could self-govern. I said no, they can't even have their own military. You said but that they do.
Counter to what the actual truth is. The truth is they do have a military, right? Like,
Who's
even
they?
though-
Okay, I'm sorry.
even though they
Who's
might not
they?
have-
When you
even
say
though
they have a military, who is they?
Hamas
Is it the
has a
government?
military, the government of the Palestinian people in Gaza.
Ha-
They have a
are they the
military.
government?
Yes, they are the government. Ask ChatGPT, are Hamas the government of Gaza?
I mean, the reason
And
you
this
took
is the problem.
the
like,
reason you
it-
took this to 2008 was because at that point Hamas had already won, Gaza was blockaded, and
Well, we
Israel
have to
had.
go- I wanted the reason I took it back there. Do you want to know? Actually, I'll tell you 100% why I wanted.
If we took it to 2005, not only would you be completely wrong, you wouldn't even have a footing to stand on, right? I was
Well, in
trying to be good
2005
faith, and I
in
allowed it to be 2008 just right alongside you. and you're
No,
still
dude,
fighting me
you're
on
you've
this.
lost the plot. In 2005, or it might be 2004. Let's just say 2000 to make it easy. Who controlled Gaza? Israel. The government of Gaza was the Israelis, I think. I actually don't even know. It probably was Israel. Okay?
You think?
And that's why I said, like, I asked you, do you understand about the Second Intifada?
After the Second
Because after the Second
Intifada,
Intifada,
when Israel put in the
Israel
government,
Israel
was
leaves and a new government takes over Gaza. That's all because like
okay.
we could have had an
Does
actual
now
debate here.
no hold
We
on.
could have had an
I'm
actual
asking
debate,
just
like a
one simple
meaningful
question.
one.
I just need a
But
yes
we
or
couldn't
no.
get through that,
Can you
dude,
do a yes or
because-
no? Can you do a
No,
yes
I
or
don't
no?
wanna be
You asked me a
interrupted.
yes or no. I'm gonna ask you a yes or no. The government that took over which was the PA at the time, I believe, in 2005. Okay, did that government have the right, the authority to make a government? I mean, a military for this government. Could they make a military?
We've already done this, dude.
I'm sorry. It's a yes or no. Please, yes or no. Just please, yes or no. It's not. You can't even twist this in any way, shape, or form. That they
Palestine
have
is
the
a
authority
stateless
to
nation.
make
They are a stateless nation. They
a
are
stateless nation could still say that we have self-governance and
They
we have a
can't, 'cause
military.
They don't have a state. They don't have any rights internationally because they are not a state.
So how can
There's
you
so
say?
many aspects of this you
Then
don't
how-
understand yet.
You're the one who was arguing that they could and did have a military.
They do have a military.
I said Israel would not allow the government to make a military.
You know who else has a military? Just for example,
Dear Lord.
the Shia Muslims in Lebanon have their own military in southern Lebanon. It's called Hezbollah, but it is not
that
the
a terrorist
official
group?
military. It is not the official. It's the largest non-state militia in the world, actually. You can
Okay.
look that
Is
up.
ISIS a military or a terrorist group?
Oh my god!
Right? I mean, it's very simple because when we say a military, as
This
if
is what I'm
they
trying to
have,
say to you.
as if
This is
I
what I'm
asked you a
trying to
yes
say
or
to
no and
you.
you could not answer the yes or no. Did
You want to make
Hamas?
you want to make everything like a semantic argument, and then we can't have like an actual debate because we can't get it to anything.
It's not a
good.
semantic argument,
You
okay?
it is.
Because
You're
you're
like,
the
what is a military?
because
Like, come
I
on,
said
just
they
fuck
do not
off.
have sovereignty,
You want to have a debate
okay?
or not?
Because I said they can't. They didn't have sovereignty because Israel controlled the big picture. They had the final say on all the big stuff. You said that's not true. Okay, so it is not wordplay, it is not semantics. If a militia forms from the people and not the government, that is not the military of that government. Do you understand?
Hamas
And
has
therefore
a
you can't say,
military.
therefore you
They-
can't say, therefore you
Whatever.
can't say that the government created a military. Okay, you can't say
I
that.
can't imagine you on other topics because like
I'm sure you can't. I'm sure
you did see it for a minute. I don't know what just happened where you like broke down and started doing this again. Like they do have a
I
military.
didn't.
Like we can't have any meaningful conversation about like
Oh my
the
God.
situation between the
Yes,
Palestinians
obviously,
and Israelis because you won't
obviously
even
there's
admit that the
weapons,
Palestinians
obviously
have a
there's
military.
fighters, obviously there's people
No,
who
they
are.
have a fucking military, an official military.
What do you mean an official military? What is an official military?
Just
Please explain it.
Ask if Al-Qassam brigades are the official military wing of Hamas. Please. Please ask that.
I really hope you understand what you just said.
Please ask
I really
that.
hope you understand what you just said. Is this group the official military of this other group? Does that help?
Hamas
Does
is the
that
official
does that
government
make
of
your
Gaza.
point? Does that make your point? Or would
Well,
we
yes,
instead
because I'm
say,
speaking
would we
about what's
instead say,
actually
is Hamas
happening,
the
and you're
official?
speaking about, I don't even know. I don't even know what you're arguing. It's nothing of substance. You're just wasting my time.
Yes, you are wasting my time. We don't have to debate
No,
this.
you're wasting my time. You like obviously you don't want to put it in because it's gonna say I'm right. I put all your bullshit into ChatGPT. Go put mine in there.
No, you didn't
I want you
put
to
everything
ask
I
is
wanted in
Al-
ChatGPT.
Ask is Al-Qassam brigades the official military of Hamas, and is Hamas the official government of Gaza?
You think it's gonna tell me that Hamas is the official government of Gaza?
Yes.
Okay, let's see. Is Hamas the official government of Gaza? Hamas is the de facto governing authority of the Gaza Strip. It is not officially recognized as a legitimate government by most of the international community. In short, Hamas governs Gaza in practice, but it is not the official internationally recognized government. That status belongs to the Palestinian Authority, PA.
Yeah, but they have no control over
I'm
Gaza
so
at
sorry.
all.
I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to, everything you've said has been factually wrong. And then when I say it's factually wrong, you say it's because of semantics. I say the semantics matter because of what they imply. And then you don't engage.
I swear I'll concede to you right now, but you have to ask it one more question. Does the PA have any control over Gaza, realistically? And add realistically.
No, the answer is no, but not because Hamas has taken
and
over.
that's what I want you
It's
to
because
understand.
Israel.
This is
It's
the
because
problem with
Israel has
people
the
like you.
actual
You
control.
don't care
Hold
about
on.
what's actually happening.
Hold
the
on.
reality
No,
there.
no, no,
You
no, no,
don't
no,
care
no,
about who
no.
actually
No, you
runs
don't
the
get to play
area.
that game. You don't get to play that game. How?
No,
It's
no,
because
not a
Israel
game.
has the
It's
final say, not
reality.
because Hamas has the
brain
final
broken.
say. It's not
Your
because
brain
Hamas has the final say, it's because Israel has the final say. Bro,
Your
it's because
brain
Israel has the...
broken.
How about I ask it? How about I ask it if Israel has the final say
Your
or not?
brain broken, dude.
Yes. The one who has been factually correct every step of the way, where you have been factually wrong, is the one who's brain broken. You are absolutely correct. The one person who ChatGPT constantly backs every time we've asked it anything, that is the guy who's brain broken. The guy who knows the history of the whole thing is the one who's brain broken. You are absolutely correct.
You didn't
Yes.
even know about the second... Ah, whatever, you're trolling. You didn't
Just
even
because
know
I
about the
didn't
second
tell you
intifada.
about what the second intifada was, yes.
You don't even...
Yes.
Whatever. There's even more than that, but we can't even get through, like, 2000 to current.
I was
couldn't
willing to
even
start at
imagine going to
1940.
I couldn't even imagine going to 1948 with you.
I
because you
couldn't
can't
imagine
even
it
accept
either.
The reality of this, like, it's crazy because, again, you saw it. I noticed it. You did kind of
What?
acknowledge, like, wait a minute, yeah, the PA has literally zero control over Gaza. They are only on paper in charge of Gaza. They have no one in Gaza. They have no control over the government or any government services. They have no control over the military. So how can you make an argument here in good faith that the Palestinian Authority is who's in charge of Gaza? It's a ridiculous fucking
It
thing.
sounds
It's a waste
ridiculous
of
because you're
time.
mixing up 2005, you're mixing
You're
up
trying to-
2006, and you're mixing up 2008. I can't help you with that. I'm sorry.
We're talking about today, you retard.
Okay, good job. I don't know what to tell you. In 2005, the PA had limited governing power. Israel had the final say. There was no way the PA could ever form a government that had a military because Israel would not allow it. Is that a yes or
They
a
can
no?
win
Do
the
you agree or
election.
not agree?
Who-
In
who-
2005, the PA was in power, correct?
I'm just gonna say, because we'll never move forward. Yes, I don't really agree, but we can't move forward until I say yes. And now that we've moved
I'm sorry, why
forward,
don't you
who won the
agree?
election? Who won the election in Gaza?
In 2000, whatever it was Hamas, yes.
Okay,
Great.
so who's the elected government of Gaza?
But now the reason that you said yes in the first question is now not going to translate here, right? Because
Well,
what I'm saying is that the real government
Do you
of
see how
Gaza
you
is
weren't making a
Israel.
real point? You were
No,
just bogging us down. so
No,
I
because you won't
accepted
even let
to
me
move
finish
on.
the sentence. The real
No, I just
government of
accepted
Gaza,
to
the
move on.
real government that actually has control over Gaza and what happens in Gaza is Israel. The PA does not have
No, it's
full
not.
actual
You're
control.
retarded. Hamas is who's in charge of Gaza. How
I'm
many
not
fucking
talking I'm not
times do
talking
we have
about
to
right
go
now.
through this?
Listen, I'm not talking about right now. I'm talking about
Then,
back in 2005.
literally
Yes.
then,
In 2005,
literally then.
Israel had the final say.
So fucking stupid. Holy shit. I even read you the charter.
Yeah,
Wait,
good
do we have to
job.
read the whole fucking charter of Hamas?
Good job. You're very
Hamas doesn't want to negotiate with Israel either, you fucking retard.
Hamas has negotiated with Israel many times, and
When?
Israel
Google
walks
it.
out,
Oh,
and then
dude. Oh, yeah. Okay.
okay.
In ChatGPT.
Hold on. Why did Israel bomb Qatar again? Why did that happen? Who was
I want
there
you to
that they
put
bombed? Was it
I want you to put
was
that
it the
in.
negotiators or
I
was
want you
it
I
just
want you to ask
some
it.
random
I'll do it.
people
I'll
in
do
the
it then.
building?
I'll do it for you. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Thank you. Thank you. I got tired. Please do it for me.
Has Hamas
Debated.
with Israel many times?
I love how you say many times.
I'm quoting you word for word.
Yeah, but okay. If you want to, yeah.
Whatever, dude.
I'm sorry. Whatever.
You win,
As soon as it disagrees with you, you're like,
Let me
whatever.
humble myself to you. They
I'm
have
so
done
sorry.
many negotiations.
I'm so
because there's
sorry,
been many
bro. I'm
wars.
sorry. One of us has been factually correct this whole time, and the other person has been wrong and thinks the one with the facts is brain broken. If that doesn't go through
are
your
brain
skull,
broken
I'm
because
sorry.
You can be right about something, but like
I've been right about every single
This is not
fact,
the truth
every
of
step
what's
of the
happening.
way. You're the one who's telling me that with the incorrect facts, you have reached the correct conclusion. I'm telling you that's not how the world works, and you're telling me I'm brain broken. I don't know what to tell you. I'm here to argue the facts. If you want to argue facts and then see what the facts mean, we can debate what the facts mean, but we're not agreeing on the facts themselves. I'm sorry. I don't know how to go further with you. Do you understand where my position is?
Do you understand? I've asked you how Israel controls Hamas and the people of Gaza, and you cannot give me a straight
Did I not
answer
say they
because it's
controls their
not true.
coastline? Did I not say that they control the
So they control
income?
it.
They control their
we've
economy, the influx of
I
goods.
agreed on that an hour ago. I already said
Is
they
that not
control
a
the
big deal?
rivers
Is
and the
is that
sea.
not a big deal to
Yeah,
you?
but I asked you, why are they doing that? And then you
It doesn't matter why,
Then
because you were the one arguing they had control over themselves, and then when I say they don't have control
They
over
do-
themselves, you say, well, they have good reason not to give them control over themselves. This is a brain dead argument to make.
No, how is it a brain dead argument?
I
We've
don't
already
think
proven that they can do things even if Israel doesn't approve of them and the international community does not approve of them.
when you say them, I never use a pronoun again. Please use a noun, okay? Who is them? Is it the PA? Is it the Palestinian people? Okay? Because you keep muddling the
didn't even know
water.
the
You say
difference,
them, and you're talking about the Palestinian people, but you're implying that it's
obviously talking about
the
the
government.
So you got to straw man me again.
I'm trying to make your words more clear and concise so I know what you're saying, so I don't straw
Clear
man
and
you.
concise coming from you, who goes on like 20-minute rants about everything because you don't want to hear
Yes.
the facts.
Okay.
And then you won't just give me like one sentence answer. So you said the land borders. I agree.
Mhm.
Bang. You said
Great.
the sea. I agree. Bang.
Okay.
But now you're trying to say the people in Gaza have no autonomy. I don't agree.
They have limited
And I ask
autonomy.
you, how do they not have autonomy? And I want you to give me another one sentence. What can't they do? Because this is the problem. Like, you can be right on paper, but I'm asking you, like, literally, what can't they do? And you don't have an answer.
Can they leave
That's
the
why
country?
your argument is bullshit. Because they can do whatever they want.
Can they
for the
leave
most
the
part.
country?
They could even invade Israel.
Can they leave the country?
In Gaza, yes.
Can
but
they
it has
build
to
their
be
own
through Egypt.
homes?
Yes.
Can they create their own jobs and economy?
Yes, they have their own jobs and economy.
You already know that's not true because if you can't
They-
control what goes
There
in and
is
out
an
of your
economy
country,
Dude,
who
there
runs
is
the
an
economy? Who is monopolizing their economy? Who does their economy depend on? Who allows the influx of power and goods and services into that country?
Do you
Not
not
country, into
consider-
Palestine.
Do you not consider like people trading ramen noodles and cigarettes and shit in a prison like an economy? Do you not think that's an economy?
You know, that's such an astute comparison that I don't even know what to tell you other than that. That's such a great analogy.
It is
That
an economy.
It's such a great analogy, bro.
Can you at
I'm
least
just
admit
high
you're wrong then?
five. High five.
Can you
like-
admit you're wrong then?
Yes, I am 100% incorrect
do
if
have
we
an
say
economy,
that
right?
me
So let's
giving
go
you
back-
a blowjob for
now let's go back to the
$5 is an
top.
entire economy, then you're
Let's-
100%
let's-
correct.
Please,
Yes.
Please. Don't get too excited here. Let's
This-
go. You still
This
haven't
is
won.
just the most
still-
insane
You,
thing.
you still haven't given me a thing that they
Okay.
can't do. I'm waiting. Tell me what the people in Gaza
I said it
can't
at
do.
least 3 times, and I'll say it again.
What?
Can they leave the country?
Yes.
Well, great. I guess they all just want to die in a war zone. I don't know what's keeping them there.
Egypt.
So they can't leave the
Dude,
country?
Dude, they invaded Israel.
Please,
dude.
please.
Yeah,
Jesus
but your argument
Christ,
is it's
man.
Israel that's keeping them in there. No, it's
Are you
Egypt.
Oh yeah. It's Israel. That Israel has no part of that, right? And Egypt is doing it for no reason other than that they want to. Yeah, you're
they do
so
want
you're
to.
absolutely right. You're so perfect.
This is a quote from the Egyptians, but I'm pretty sure they said they're ready to sacrifice millions of lives to stop a single Gazan from crossing the border. It is their decision. It is so much their decision that if Israel were to force or like blow up the border, for example, to allow the Gazans into Egypt, Egypt would declare war on Israel. They've already stated that it is
I'm
a
sorry.
red line.
I don't
They would be
know.
willing
I don't
to
know
go
where
to
you read
war.
that quote. It is absolutely impossible that Egypt would declare war on Israel again. It's just that's not where the world is right now. That would never happen. Okay? Egypt basically just listens to the US, okay? And the US listens to Israel. That's what's happening. Israel was like, I don't want Hamas. US was like, I also don't want Hamas.
Do you accept CNN as a source? Egypt warns Israel that mass displacement of Gazans is a red line. We will not accept it. We will not participate in it, and we will not allow it to happen.
I was only talking about the war part, where if he did say that, I don't know the quote, but if he did say that, he was being pedantic. Egypt would definitely still listen to the US. I don't think that they're gonna go to war.
No,
to
they would
do
go
that.
to war.
No, they
They
wouldn't.
would literally go to war.
No, they wouldn't. I'm sorry, they wouldn't.
Dude, they killed the prime minister. This is a problem. Like, you don't understand the history of the Palestinians in the region. If you did, you'd understand why these countries have a literal zero tolerance. They even took Syrian refugees, some of these countries, and they won't take a single Palestinian. You don't think there's a reason why? It's not
You
a
think
big
there are no
conspiracy that
Palestinian
you-
refugees? Or do you
There
mean just in
were.
the area there aren't?
There were. Kuwait took them. You know what happened there?
Oh, the Palestinians killed all of the Kuwaits.
No, when Kuwait got invaded by Iraq, they sided with Saddam. Did you know that?
That's insane. I'm mind blown.
When the Jordanians took them in, do you know what happened there?
They named
They started a
themselves
civil
Jordan
war and tried
instead.
to overthrow the government. Okay.
I mean, this
Lebanon
sound.
took them in.
I mean, this
Lebanon
this
took them in.
absolutely sounds like some Nazi talking point that you're doing right now, and I'm not interested in what happens to them as refugees when they go to these other countries. We're talking about Gaza.
No, they
and
literally
Israel.
started a war and tried to overthrow the government.
Well, they've been getting a lot of practice
Called Black
apparently.
September. See, this is a problem.
Black September. I don't. I mean, I'm hoping you see. No, I think you're pivoting. I don't think you're making this up. I think you're pivoting.
pivoting.
We have completely pivoted.
No.
From
We haven't gotten far. We haven't gotten far from the fact
you
that
asked me
Egypt,
what can they do? What does Israel control?
Egypt doesn't want to take them. The argument you made is Egypt won't take them because Israel is pressuring them not to take them. I said that's not true. Egypt did take them, and they killed the fucking prime minister. Jordan took them. They tried to overthrow the government. They started the civil war in Lebanon.
I don't care. If
They
I put
sided
you
with
if I put you
Saddam
in a prison cell, if I put you in a prison cell,
weren't
and
in
then
a
I asked you,
they weren't in a cell. They weren't.
just listen to the
talking about
analogy. It's just an
left.
analogy. It's an
We're
analogy.
talking about ones that left.
It's an analogy. This is an analogy. If I put you in a prison cell, and then I asked you, what is it that you can't do that I can do out here, outside the prison cell? What would you say?
Well, you can't even have a phone in prison. Meanwhile, they're driving new BMWs.
Really?
They have iPhone 15s in Gaza.
Hold on. You can't have a phone in
Even
prison?
during the war, believe it or not.
There are no prisoners with phones. There are no prisoners with TVs, with comfy beds, with spacious prison cells, with internet access. That doesn't happen? I mean, it is ridiculous, right? Because you're asking me what can they do that other people can't do. It's like, yeah, I guess they can walk. They have legs. I guess they can go in and out of places, right? Sure. As a government, the government has no power.
When it's not a war, they can leave.
I don't know what to I don't know what to say to that, man. That's absolute insanity. I don't know what you're even arguing.
The truth is,
the truth is you have not been correct in any part of this.
How am I not okay?
Yeah, you stopped asking that question because you realized every part of the way you were incorrect. You were incorrect about which group.
Wrong about Black September.
You were wrong about which group went into what other group. You were wrong about everything we've asked ChatGPT. It hasn't agreed with you a single time, even though that was your source. You were willing to ask ChatGPT. You're the one who said we can ask ChatGPT. I didn't even bring up ChatGPT.
Yeah, but you're not good faith. It only works if the other person's good faith.
I'm sorry. On my part. Oh yeah, because ChatGPT doesn't work on bad faith people. It's just ChatGPT is just so stupid.
For the 1 minute that we actually got to the objective truth, you did see I was right, and then it's like,
okay, what was the truth? Sorry, like, what was the truth?
But wait a minute.
What was the truth? What was just so I can remember?
The PA is the official government of the objective truth is that Hamas is the government of Gaza. They built a military. Hamas, and they attacked Israel.
Okay, we can both agree that Hamas has control over Gaza,
and instead
right?
of fucking attacking Israel, if they wanted a state, which in their charter they say they don't want a state, which you're retarded and you fucking probably forgot that, even though we talked about it 2 hours ago.
And I didn't agree with you. Maybe if their charter was like, we want a 2-state solution, you're not going to agree with me when you're fucking retarded. But did Hamas not negotiate and give a 2-state solution as a viable thing that they would accept?
When
if you
did
think
they say this?
If you can ask ChatGPT, well, go ahead, ask ChatGPT. Go ahead, just be factually wrong for like the 10th time. If I don't know what to tell you. Should I ask ChatGPT? Would you rather me ask it?
I did. No, Hamas does not officially support a 2-state solution. In its 1988 charter, Hamas explicitly rejected any permanent peace with Israel.
I can tell you. I can tell you.
Palestine.
I can tell you exactly what you just asked ChatGPT.
Hold on. That softened its language. It said it would accept.
I'm gonna mute you and then I'm gonna leave if you don't shut the fuck up. Okay? If you okay.
You're wrong.
No, I'm not wrong. I can tell you what you. I can tell you. Okay, I'll ask ChatGPT, but I'm going to ask ChatGPT. Hold on. I'll ask you right now. I'll ask you right now. However, you're talking way too much. You're talking way too much right now.
Do it. I can't hear you.
I already know.
I'm waiting for you to fucking do it. I'm gonna wait another 10 seconds. If you say
you'll
something,
wait 10 seconds.
After 10 seconds, that isn't. I'm getting it into ChatGPT. I'm just gonna mute you again. How about that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay.
I'm
Go
typing
on.
it in. Hold on.
Hamas does not want a two-state solution. That is the problem with Gaza. The PA is a different conversation. We could have a actual conversation about the situation, but you don't want to accept the actual truth. The PA, there's hope, right?
In
I'm
which
pretty
it
sure the
accepted a
PA
Palestinian state on the basis of June 4th, 1967 borders, covering the West Bank, Gaza Strip, and East Jerusalem. Hamas officials have also, in some remarks, stated they would be willing to discuss a truce or pause hostilities if such a state were established. Reporting suggests that Hamas may be receptive to joining or participating in a broader Palestinian Authority structure under certain conditions, a possible sign of strategic flexibility. What exists are statements of potential openness from Hamas towards a Palestinian state in the 1967 borders. Yeah. Hamas has signaled a willingness to accept a Palestinian state on the 1967 borders, which is a component of the two-state solution concept. And yes,
Will they
and as
accept-
far as I know, in some of the previous
Will they
negotiations,
accept Israel's right to exist? Ask that specifically.
that's not something you put in writing.
No, it is.
I don't
Cole,
know what.
Stop.
I don't know.
No,
what to
no.
say.
This is what you do. You
No.
don't want to look at the actual truth, the objective truth. I want you to ask: will they accept Israel's right to exist? It is critical.
I don't. Why? I don't know because I don't think that's ever
They
been
said
in
they
right. I don't
pause
think. I
hostilities,
don't
you
see.
fucking retard.
I don't
They're
see
telling you
what
they
what
want to
truce
do.
would
I
have them
want you to-
accept. Like I'm not gonna like
Oh my
try to
God,
talk
dude.
over you every time. If you ask me a question and you don't want the answer, then don't ask the question.
Follow the fuck up and ask it. Will they accept Israel's right to exist? Now,
I don't know.
or we're done.
I don't know.
Ask it.
I don't
Ask
know.
it.
I don't know.
Ask it.
Why would I
Ask
ask
it.
it that?
Ask
What?
it.
Ask it
Ask
what?
it. Ask
If
it.
Hamas is
Ask
willing
it.
to sign
Ask
that
it.
they
Ask
accept.
it. Ask it. Ask
Okay.
it.
Clearly,
Or we're
you're
done.
just rage baiting
Ask
at
it or
this
we're
point.
done.
Look,
Ask
I'm
it.
no,
Ask
I'm
it
done
or
with
we're
you.
done.
I'm sorry. I'm done with you.
You won't ask
Goodbye.
it. Fuck you.